Alright, yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the solar system series known as Fixed Fire. We talk about the only fixed fire sign in this ecliptic, known as Leo. And since we've already got Leo's sun out of the way, naturally working our way down, we've come to Leo moon. So let's talk about it a little bit. But before we talk about it a little bit, I just want to draw your attention to this tire and this foot right here. No relation, just wanted to point it out for you. But anyways, moon in Leo, moon in Leo, moon in Leo. So let's get started with what we talked about, right? So the moon. What is the moon? The moon is, it comes from the second house. It's tied to the second house. This is the house of values, comfortability, what makes you feel secure in yourself. The moon is what makes you react, respond to things. You know, it's the astrological body that reflects the light you emit. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't necessarily act on itself, but it'll react all right. You can best believe that it'll react. Reactions, man, they're crazy. Crazy, man. You can't trust a person's reactions all the time, even though it's generally how they feel. But anyways, I'm just rambling about some nonsense, so let's get into it a little bit. So basically, let's talk about, actually, before I dive into the whole traits of moon and Leo a little bit, let's talk about Leo. So Leo was birthed from the 5th house, right? The 5th house is classified as just genuine expression, creativity, your ability to entertain others as well as being entertained by yourself, right? So with this in mind, how does this sort of tie into Leo? You know, we're going to get to that point. Bear in mind as we talk about the Leo moon and how they react, because, you know, you're going to be thinking like, oh, attention's all about me, all about me. Nope, remember that 5th house point, because we're going to be like, it's just attention in general. It just may happen that way somehow, some way. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, like I said, I keep rambling and rambling and rambling. I'm a rambling man. Anyways. So before we necessarily get into the traits of Moon and Leo, we have to talk about their surrounding, like triplet system, you know what I'm saying? How they differ from Sun in Leo versus Ascendant in Leo, right? So let's talk about Ascendant in Leo. The Ascendant sign or your first house is basically your spirit, your space, just the space you exist in naturally as a person. A way you can interact with this alignment is basically by just walking around doing nothing, not acting, not reacting, not nothing, just being yourself. Or you can do this socially via just like sitting in a room being a weirdo and finding out how people feel about you before you act or react in any way, shape, or form. Or you can just meditate, exist with yourself, and see what comes up, because this is when you are in your space, not reacting or acting. You're just stepping that out for a moment, seeing how you feel genuinely as a spirit, the being part of you as a human being. You feel what I'm saying? So jumping in a little bit to the actual, oh right, we gotta hop on the sun sign. So basically the difference between the sun sign is like whatever they do, it's kind of, they sort of just like, they just attract attention based off being them. You know what I'm saying? Like the ascendant sign just does it because that's their spirit, their space, just the vibration they decide to rock with in this existence. And then the sun sign is, this is how you act, express, and consciously see what you see from the world, So if this is being what you see from the world, eventually this is what you're going to manifest for yourself and like bring into your reality, because you act this way, you feel this way, and this is how you see things. So you're going to see things from a grand vision, and people are going to be like, you know what, I'm rocking with that vision, I'll help them with that, and so on and so forth. Now when it gets placed into your moon, let's talk about Leo a little bit more before we get into that. But yeah, so Leo, like I said, it's borrowed from the 5th house. It came from just the general sun space of just attention, emitting light, so on and so forth. It's fixed fire, being fixated on its own way of seeing and feeling. So it has its own perspective and its own way to, like I said, see, and how it has its own way of feeling about things, right? So if we take that in mind in conjunction with the planet that it's ruled by and the planet it's away in, which it's ruled by the sun, and it's away in Saturn, then we can sort of get a gist on the archetype that's playing out through the moon, right? So, as I mentioned, moon in Leo. So, if with all this supplementary information, what can we find out about the moon in Leo? So, off the freaking bat, we're gonna feel like a moon and Leo person is gonna feel like they should just be getting attention for no damn reason. They just have that layered into the moon because the moon, it's not doing its own thing necessarily. It's doing its thing through the eyes of a Leo. So when it's layered through the eyes of a Leo, it's going to feel like it needs to get attention. It's going to feel like people should pay attention to it. Now, if you remember the whole point, the whole tirade, the little short tirade that I went on with the 5th house, this isn't just attention genuinely directed towards them, even though it may get to that at some point. This is attention that's directed towards like just the entire life situation of like attention itself. So if you do something good, you do something bad, you do something mediocre, a Leo moon person will feel that they have to basically like either give you attention based off what you did, that like the light you emitted. Like I said, it could be good, bad, medium, negative, or positive. And it also could be, you know, it could like, I guess if it doesn't garner attention, you know, they wouldn't really be paying any attention to it. But it's just like they just feel the need to insert themselves into any situation with attention. So if I were to just like smack this bike right here and the hook holding it up fell out, you know, a Leo moon would be like, yo, what the fuck? Why would you do that? You know, there's no point in doing that. That didn't cause any benefit to the situation. Why would you just, you know, fuck with something? And like me being the Gemini that I am, it's just like, oh, I wanted to see what would happen, you know? But that would be a situation where it's just like, they would pay me attention. They would feel like they would have to like, you know, shed light on whatever the fuck just happened because I just did something that like, you know, caught attention that they reacted to. So naturally their way to express that, because they feel so expressive in just the way they have to react, that it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? But rather than any other moon sign that may be stable or keep quiet to themselves, like a Scorpio moon, feel their own way about it and just like, you know, like, I feel this way and it's very strong, but I don't have the balls to actually act on it, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the difference. Like, you know, oh man, I should talk about that. Yeah, good point. So a little backstory on how like sort of Leos and Scorpios are kind of similar is, so they both will like, you know, kind of moderate and filter the attention that they're placing on a certain subject, but a Leo person would do it to highlight certain subjects. Like, you know, like they'd be like, ooh, look here, look here, look here. And they wouldn't say don't look over here, but they would imply it by directing your focus in certain areas. Whereas a Scorpio would be like, you know, they would feel some type of way and they'd be like, don't look over here, don't look over here, don't look over here. And they may not necessarily say don't look over here, but they would do it because they have things to hide. It's an important distinction, but it gives you, you know, a better overview of the same thing in general. Anyways, back to the Leo moon. These people, like I said, so they just like to, you know, attract and like react to things of just general light emission that are a cause for attention to begin with, right? But where they kind of where they sort of get fucked up with this is it's just like they just you know, they just have that general feeling of needing attention in a way, and they, whatever reason that makes, they'll like do some little thing in their mind where it's like, oh, okay, if I give attention, I'll eventually get it at some point. And they probably will for a little bit, but eventually their whole like just situation of just being a type of person that just goes out and what's the word of just going out and giving attention willy-nilly will, like, you know, obviously just do the supply and demand that'll devalue their own attention, and then people will start like paying no mind to them, and then they'll feel worse and worse, like, oh, I was out here doing this and this is how I feel about it, this is my perspective on attention in general, why aren't you giving this back to me, you know? So this will kind of get them into a place of like just you know, no one's paying attention to them. They still feel the same way about how they should get attention, even more so than what they had before. And then it's like they're just not getting it to begin with. But in their mind, it's just a whole different subject, because they put so much energy into feeling like they should get attention that they just completely neglected the fact of them like getting it for a valued reason, you know? They have this fixated perspective. They have this way where they can just attract things that would align with their fixated perspective, but they don't give anything out like, you know, a good idea, a good perspective on a certain topic that's like, oh, you know what, like it genuinely like attracts the attention of the crowd, where it's like, man, I never thought about that way. Oh, I never looked at this in this way. You know, they don't do that. All that just kind of blows over for some fucking reason. And they're just like, no, I should just get attention. When in reality, they may have not even done something to get attention in the first place. Now, what they can do to sort of get around this, if they can recognize that they have this feeling inside, they can recognize that they sort of fucked it up along the way, doing, you know, this, that, and the third of, you know, just kind of devaluing their own attention that they give out. And they can, you know, use that, keep that system in mind for when they do start, you know, they kind of need their fix for attention. They can have something that they created in the pocket ready to be like, here, look at this, you know? And this could be, it could be numerous things. It could be something physical. it could be some type of philosophy, it could be some type of ideology, it could be their own perspective on a given subject. It's just like, damn, I never looked at it that way. And then they can get the attention that they deserve instead of just walking around feeling like they should get attention and being like, pay me attention. I want to be the baby of the freaking family. Just look at me, baby me, care for me, do this, you know? They don't have to be like that. You can just recognize your influences. It would be even better if you recognize the house that your moon was placed in, so you can understand the life situation that you'll actually be going through this bullshit. Anyway, that's my little tirade on Leo moon, you know, whatchamacallit. I don't want to do the like and subscribe bullshit, but you can get what I imply. And anyways, let's run through the planets in regarding this house, right? I mean, not this house, this placement. So it's moon in Leo, right? So Leo is ruled by it's ruled by the sun. It is oh man, no, never mind. I got a whole situation that just came to me. So having a moon in Leo is sort of like having a moon in the 5th house in regards to this one little trait that I just sort of came into my mind, right? So this trait is basically like you have this little bit of means where it's sort of like you won't like be your true self and be your true expressive reactive self unless people like, you know that about you and they like allow you to sort of be like this, right? So this is sort of like a you being yourself version of don't speak unless spoken to where it's like when people know you, they know you as that expressive, out loud and proud motherfucker that's like, attention here, attention this, I pay this to you, that's how I feel about you, this is how I see this is my perspective on that. But then when people don't know that about you, you sort of get this like little brother vibe to where you're like chasing and like reacting and just like you're just being this like look at me, I didn't get the attention I deserved as a kid type of person, when in reality it's just you didn't get the attention you feel that you deserve for your own placement. But yeah, it's just kind of like you just have this thing of where it's just like you sort of gotta like flip a switch in other people's minds so they can emit the light of understanding how you are as a person, and then you can sort of act in that vibration. It's just like I said, it's a little thing where it's just like you being your truest self and showing your truest perspective of your mind is kind of, you just have this little thing where it's like, it's a subconscious thing to where it's like you can't speak unless spoken to. But anyway, back to the planets. Leo is, like I said, moon in Leo. It's ruled by the sun. It doesn't fall, it's away in Saturn, and then it's born from the 5th house. Anyways, thanks for following my solar system series of Fixed Fire. Peace.